Yo, what's up, ladies, gentlemen, and they, thems, and welcome back to Selene Apoptosis. Yeah, apologies for it taking me so long to get back into this game. You know, I kind of have a track record for not, going straight into, or at least being consistent with visual novel games of the long caliber, with DDLC. But other than that, just welcome back. If I may seem out of it, it's because I was SAT testing all day, and I tell you what, it may not sound that bad, but like stuck with over 100 people in a big ass room and being next to my friend the whole time, I lost a couple of brain cells. So like, if I can't read properly, just know I've been losing brain cells. He had just settled himself on a sofa with some book. Some was the word, as he couldn't remember a thing from the cover, even though he read the title several times. The symbols were floating before his eyes, and of course he couldn't make out a word. No wonder, considering he didn't sleep at all, yeah. When you think about it, it was surprising he could write in this state. Either way, he was barely following in the book, so he wasn't upset at all when a fluffy head butted his hand. Is my cat friend back here again? Hey, I'm trying to read here.
And you don't seem to be getting anywhere.
Like, where did you even go? And then how did you return? And I was starting to like tripping, but like last time I was like, oh well, I'm sleep deprived. Of course I'm tripping. Like, how could I not? Also, but that's probably not going to be the thumbnail because it's too early in the video.
What does it matter, anyways?
What do you mean? What matters?
Better scratch me right here.
Right where? Oh, okay. He complied. You were absent for so long. I thought you won't be back.
Then why didn't you close the window upstairs?
I usually don't close the window. In game, I usually don't close the window when I'm, working or sleeping, especially during a storm, right? There's a big difference between expectations and hopes. He had learned that well. Why did you leave? Did I do anything wrong? The cat stayed silent. I'm not a bitter person. I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. I am a pretty negative person, not gonna lie, but I like to say fake it till you make it. And I like to have everyone happy around me. And if that means being fake happy around people, then hell yeah. Alright, it doesn't matter that much. I'm happy to have you back. Sorry, I got hella terrified that someone was trying to bust down my door. In my secretive state of recording. Recording is something not sensual. What is the word I'm trying to find for it? I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. It's my private safe space. Don't come in while I'm trying to record. After all, there was no point in his grudge from the start. Nobody gains anything by holding on to small grudges and staying blind to what they really feel. He wouldn't have won anything. It's not a damn lottery. The cat rubbed against his arm. He put the book down and gently placed her on his lap. The locket around her neck, unexpectedly cold, touched his skin. Then he got a hunch. Did you go home?
I have no home.
Well, someone must be caring about you if they put that collar on.
Sometimes a collar is just a collar.
Yeah. Oh, you probably like putting on chokers and collars for no reason. I mean, you are a cat, but still, this doesn't count. This is a this ain't a chain. This is a necklace.
Don't you know?
Shh. This time it was him who stayed silent. The cat buried her head on his stomach. Want me to take it off?
No, it is mine now.
For what reason?
Besides, it's easier this way if I catch someone's eye on the streets.
He nodded because if you think about it, that really was a reasonable choice. The cat's fur was thick and smooth, very pleasant to the touch. He wanted to bury his face in it, find out what it smelled like. What she smelled like. Do you have a name?
Of course.
And what is it?
Everything has a name.
Not me. Or, I don't know. Not me? Technically, I'm nameless. Haha! Shut up. And what's yours? The cat looked at him carefully with her bright yellow eyes as if saying, take a guess. But she didn't actually say anything. On her locket was a small engraving, a crescent moon that was dimly shining in the pale light coming out of the window. What, Luna? Oh, Selene. 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 Why does that sound so familiar? I mean, yes, dumbass. Of course it's part of the game, but like, Selene. I heard it outside of this game before. The cat looked up at him, and her pupils flickered into 2 full moons in an eclipse. Then she rubbed against his arm one last time and stood up, stretching and arching her back. Like, hey!
Close the window on the second floor.
Stop that. Not in my ear. Please. Don't close the window on the second floor. That's what you said, right? I won't. Hey, if you're going to keep coming back, I gladly won't close the second door. Or a second window door. See what I mean by saying I don't know what I'm talking about? Like, the brain cells aren't brain celling because I used all of them on either SATs or f***ing around with my friend. Oh, she left but stayed the same with him, in and out around the house. Selene so hummed the glass white in the moonlight. So whispered the long shadows of branches outside the window. I'm gonna say right here, because I feel like this is a like varying path. So let's focus on the name. What is Selene to me? Because I mentioned it earlier, but like Selene, I felt like I've heard that name before outside of this game. I just don't know why or where. What is Selene? For some reason, the question bothered him. He vaguely remembered it had something to do with the mythology. Not while I'm recording. Such things never really caught his interest, but fortunately, he knew someone he could turn to. That's it? Huh? What am I waking up to? Okay. What's happening? Oh.
Meanie.
Hi. Also, why did that hop up? I don't want to press it. I know you can't see my mouse right now, but I'm circling over this. Zoom in, top right. Yeah, you see that little dot on a red dot on it? I think I remember reading a comment or review or something like that about like leaving that to the end or something of the sort. So I'm gonna, yeah. Okay, so I may have accidentally pressed on it or clicked on it. Whoops, my bad, but it doesn't matter. Or at least I hope it doesn't. What do you mean, meanie? You know I can't stand them, Ethan Winters. And you know it's me who will have to take care of it after all. You're basically living in the office. Ethan never liked cats. He never liked the pussy. And dogs too. Not much of a difference. Damn, he doesn't like pussy and bitch. Not my kind of dude. He didn't like the very idea of keeping a predator at home, even a small one. He couldn't quite explain why. Hope sighed. She closed the tab with the entry's website, then slapped her husband lightly on the shoulder. Even so, the faces of the Persian cats, deeply depressed and equally concave, still lingered before his mind's eye. You got nice titties. I'll give you that much. Ethan held up his hands in a consolatory that gesture. He knew it wasn't over. Hope is not the one to give in this easy. She never was, and for him there was something incredibly appealing about it. Come to think of it, quite possible it'll be him who capitulates in the end. In a relationship, you always have to sacrifice something. In 4.5 years, or even 5 according to Hope, he had learned this quite well. Suddenly, Hope frowned, looking at the screen.
Seems like you got an email from, Sam. A tough one. I can't quite read it.
Like, are you actually physically talking to me or in-game player Ethan.
It just hit your work mailbox.
Yeah, I think I saw it. Let me see. I hope I got a new project. The Middle Ages are fine and all, but they are about to start pouring out of my ears. Ethan reached for his laptop, but Hope grabbed it and dodged him.
Right. Why don't we talk contracts on a Sunday evening?
I don't know why you sound familiar to me.
So, which one of us is all work and no play?
I don't want to say nothing too down bad, but ooh, I hope I could play with you one day. Well, such are the benefits of freelance. Come on, give it back. Hope giggled and leaned over the armrest hanging over the floor. Hope's defenses withstood several more attacks each time Ethan thought the laptop would definitely hit the floor. Then she gave Ethan a quick a peck on the cheek and slid off the couch. The laptop returned to its owner.
All right. I give up.
I don't know what that pause was. Like, legit, I just, like, 1,000-yard stare just hit me for no reason. I mean, what if actually give you a new contract but on the same old Middle Ages? Now, that would be a twist. Did you actually say this, or am I, like, just yapping? You already know. Yeah, a hilarious one. But there was nothing about the Middle Ages in the letter, not a mention of the payment, too. Ethan read it several times. Leaving the formalities aside, there was but one question in the letter. Ethan, or rather the part of them that was responsible for finding the accurate answers, got immediately engaged by the wording. What is Selene? Ethan rolled that question around his mouth as if tasting it. At a glance, the answer was simple. Ethan's real passion was the early Renaissance, but he was a history consultant after all. At least he liked to think of himself that way. The agency was paying him for a reason. He needed no research to tell that Selene was the goddess of the moon in the ancient Greece. The question, however, seemed to be way more intricate in its nature. Or at least that's what Ethan wanted to think of, because the Middle Ages were actually about to start pouring out of his ear. He was always diving into his work completely and living in an age where madness, curse, and death are contagious in an exhausting trial. He needed some distraction. Of course, he had a part-time job with those online courses, but the platform where he lectured wasn't planning anything new just yet. All in all, the request looked interesting, if not for one small matter. The payment, oh no, or rather the lack of. Ethan hesitated. The sender's name seemed familiar. He searched the email's address and found out they already worked together on a couple of texts. Both times his efforts were duly paid for by the agency. Ethan never worked for free, obviously. It wasn't his principle, but rather the matter of necessity. The problem here was the fact that Ethan loved what he was doing too much. And if you were trying to make money from what you love, that's a slippery slope. A free service there, an unpaid consultant here, and then you go back to splitting the sheet protectors 8 hours a day watching your dreams rust away. Besides, Ethan didn't want to let Hope down. Of course, she supported him when he decided to go freelance, but Ethan never wanted to take advantage of that. No, that won't do. He works only under contract and does not give free consultants. Just as he was about to give that response, Hope's fair head popped from behind the door.
Are you coming?
Ho, ho, ho. Maybe. On the walk, Hope brought up the cat thing a few more times. Ethan protested absently. His thoughts went back to the letter again and again, to that question. The more he thought about it, the more he wanted to find the answer. It was no longer a matter of helping an acquaintance who then Ethan immediately forgot. No, it was Ethan himself who needed a little help with distraction and an answer. That was a weird thing to do, but Ethan waited until Hope was fast asleep. Only then he did sneak over to his laptop and write a response. Certainly, he had no real answer as of yet. He threw in a few dozen polite words, the general meaning of which was he had taken up the case. Then he clicked send. When Ethan returned to bed, Hope was still breathing slow and deep. He listened to her breath for a while, trying to not think that he had broken his own rule. After all, he really needed a distraction. No matter the strength of your affection, sooner or later you will want to take a break. It was another thing he had learned over the past 4.5 years. Okay, hold on. Like, I need a... hold on. I know, it sounds mad disgusting, but I'm still, like, stuffed up even after almost a week of having this thing. Man, I partied way too hard at homecoming. If Ethan had to point out when things started to be off, he would say it was on Saturday. That is about a week after the first letter. But this, of course, wouldn't be accurate. Those weird things started happening almost immediately after he pressed the send button. The first night he saw a room in his dreams. What happened to UI? Oh, the red couch. Okay, where do we teleport to? A chipped white ceiling and similarly rough walls lit with fluorescent lamps. Ethan could see the lamps themselves, but he recognized the cold shimmering light. They often use those lamps in offices. The light filled the room to the brim. Ethan thought it was about to burst, and then the light would splash all over the room, just like the juice from a squished tomato. Apart from the walls and the light, the room had a red sofa. The sofa stood just a bit aside from the center, not too large, quite faded, flooded with shimmering white light. This light made the sofa seem to be trembling a little, and the room trembled with it. Ooh, oh, suddenly Ethan thought it would be way better if the sofa was standing right in the middle. Then he felt something on his temple, a touch. He had to flinch, scream, stumble to the side, yet he couldn't. He was paralyzed. Only his eyes could move, and they desperately tried to reach beyond his field of vision, where something was touching his temple. Ethan felt a faint flow of air as if someone was whispering in his ear. He did hear the whisper, just one word. Ethan no longer remembered what the word was when he jumped up in his bed gasping for air. Hope muttered something in her sleep and turned to the other side. It took a long time to get back to sleep, but by morning Ethan did pass out, and when he woke up, the dream wiped out of his mind pretty quick. The task at hand interested him much more than some muck spilling out of his subconscious. He was thinking about the task while he was chewing on the morning toast, driving to the bank and all the way back. It was just like a Christmas present waiting for its time in the closet. The more you tell yourself you shouldn't think about it, the more you do. At home, Ethan tried to stick to his plan, working on the project he was paid for, but ended up sitting over a single report for several hours. He couldn't squeeze out a letter. To hell with it. After all, he was almost done with his current project. It wouldn't be much of a problem if he presented the result a bit later on, wouldn't it? Besides, it was really time for him to get a breather. One can't be spending too much time in a world where madness, curse, and death are contagious. To hell with it, Ethan thought as he closed the files of the project he was paid for. Can we get on like interesting stuff instead of all this yapping or exposition? I want to get into the I know it sounds actually right coming out of my mouth, but I want to get into the horny stuff because that's the stuff I like. No surprise there. There was plenty of information, but Ethan knew he would not get an answer right away. The accurate answer, just like the precious pearls, lay at great depths. He had to go down to the very bottom. Ethan was not afraid. He had done it many times. His counterpart might have to wait a week or so, but Ethan knew he'll manage to crack the riddle. Ask and you shall receive. Look at that. Now the interesting stuff's happening. Or at least I think. What he didn't know is what else could be found at those great depths. And at some point in his investigations, things started happening. He started hearing sparse phrases, and even though he never turned on TV or radio and Hope wasn't even home, when he sat in front of the screen, once again trying to connect the dots in his research, he could feel something looking at the back of his head. When he turned around, of course there was no one in the room. Why? Why did that, out of everything, get me in this game? Just nothing. It was literally just this. Literally just something waving from the screen that got me. Oh, eventually he taught himself not to turn around. He just got angry, pushing his fingers into his temples when the familiar feel again. I can't believe I'm saying this. Can we like see Selene again, or Hope? I kind of like Hope. She's cool. I don't know about Selene. He started losing things, or rather, things would disappear and then appear in the strangest of places. One day he found his pencil in the freezer, stuck in the mincemeat Bridget. We're just gonna call it Bridget. Even when the Bridget melted down, he couldn't pull the whole pencil out. All Ethan got was a bloody stump. God, I wish I had my water with me right here, right now, because my mouth is getting parched. Like, you hear that? That's the sound of dryness. At this point, he could stop and think of it, but got distracted by the coffee maker and mindlessly shoved the stump into the trash bin. Ooh, that's a little shadowy monster. There was something wrong with the shadows too. They became sharper and thicker and deeper, and it was the case in the whole apartment. Sometimes they moved. Of course, Ethan only felt like they were moving. It couldn't have been any other way. Ethan didn't really pay attention to any of this, just like he did with the dream he had. All of that seemed very familiar, as he already experienced similar things during the periods of intense work when his nervous system was exhausted by the workload. There's always was a rational explanation: the stress, or those new, much more environmentally friendly light bulbs that Hope had installed all around the apartment. Besides, it was so easy to dismiss this sort of things when you're deeply invested in something, and this question really got Ethan involved. Every time he seemed to get it right, his thought went off. Like he was climbing a rock, but a safe ledge suddenly turned slippery, and the next thing he knew, he was at the bottom again. He never faced anything like that during his previous research. There were times he had to spend weeks or months looking for the right answers. Those were tricky cases, but at the least he could always tell how his research is progressing. This time he was stumbling in his tracks without knowing why, and that was all he could tell. The week was over, but he still had nothing to send back to his contact. In his reply, Ethan asked a couple of questions. Not that he was really interested, just as courtesy. And that's how their surprisingly exciting email conversation started. With this, Ethan's contact grew to be something more, something of a friend maybe. Ooh, a special friend maybe. He never asked how Ethan's work was progressing. This was the question Ethan asked himself, and the answer was never good for him. Oh, I thought those turned a bit more accursed. Of course, he started sleeping badly. Falling asleep was easy, but he woke up many times during the night, sometimes in a cold sweat. Ethan could not remember his dreams. That night he woke up about 3 or 4 times. At first, Ethan was lucky enough to fall asleep almost immediately after he woke up, but at some point, his eyes got open again. This time, the sleep wouldn't come. Ethan felt terribly thirsty, just like me right now. I'm killing for some water right now. He found no slippers on the usual spot. The noise could wake up Hope, so he decided not to look for them and only regretted it when approaching the kitchen. The floor was a bloody cold, so cold that Ethan unconsciously looked down. Uh-oh. Hey! I see that silhouette now. I see the nip. Don't show anything too graphic. I mean, I have the free version of the game, which doesn't give that, 18 plus DLC. But still, don't do that. And when he was looking up again, he saw a shadow. No doubt that shadow belonged to a woman. It belongs to Hope. Like, come on now. Pretty obvious. A naked woman. That's obvious too. Ethan could clearly see the point of... Ethan could clearly see the points of her nipples as the shadow turned around. No wonder it's freezing cold in here. It just... The shadow moved slowly along the wall, floating in a rectangular pool filled with moonlight. She was dancing. The humming silence in Ethan's ears was her music. Ethan was watching her, unable to move. He was paralyzed, just like back in his dream. But he did not remember it. At that moment, he didn't remember anything at all. Couldn't think about anything at all. What is this? He felt an itch in his eyes and the momentary urge to blink. Oh, she's gone. For a fraction of a second, he could only see the thick, vicious darkness, and when he opened his eyes again, there was no shadow anymore. The glowing rectangle shifted its place and now lay on the kitchen at Ethan's feet. He could see the cold white light flowing into the seams between the tiles on the floor. For some reason, he took a deep breath and then stepped forward into the rectangular light. Nothing happened. And what was supposed to happen? Genius. What did he really see? Did he really see anything? He walked deeper into the room, much bolder, grabbed the decanter, and started to drink in big greedy sips, or gulps. Water streamed down his chin and chest, hitting the tile floors, and poured onto the grooves of the seams. No, that wasn't a delusion. The kitchen was completely empty, and the floor felt warm again, and yet it wasn't a delusion. And all of this was beginning for a rational explanation. That's why Ethan decided he should talk to Hope in the morning. Something changed. Something changed, all right. And I'm gonna, just in case. I feel like I shouldn't have done that, huh? Okay. Hi, Discord mod. Devil is made of clay and tomato soup, just like any human being. Is that it? Okay. Interview. Oh, it's getting late and then I come. She serves tomato soup. She used to serve other things, but not anymore. I'm in the tomato soup. They both eat a tomato soup. That's how I get in. I don't like this. Why did I press the button? Good question. Can I go back to, the actual story? Now I'm asking to go back to the story. I'm sorry, but no. I'm gonna leave, and then I'm gonna, yeah. No, I'm not save again. And then I'm gonna check this. February 13th. An awful day. I was crazy, scared for Mom. She says she'll have some days off and we'll be watching movies and eating waffles. Ooh, sounds like a good time. I love that, but she looks very sad. I don't know what to do. April 24th. Nobody came to my birthday party except for my friends and Timo. Timo! Mom said I'll get real friends when I'm older. My friends are real, but still, I'd love to have someone to hang out with. I'll just have to wait for a bit, I guess. Alright then. Alright. Did you give anyone the apartment keys, by chance?
What?
Hope froze with a cup at her lips and blinked several times. Maybe you've let someone in?
I didn't. No. What's with those questions?
Because I saw a sexy shadow figure that was dancing alluringly. I blinked and then she was gone. She kind of looked like you. I feel like someone is visiting our place.
What do you mean?
I'm seeing things out of the corner of my eyes. No, it's not schizophrenia. I'm like, someone's just breaking and entering. Exactly what I said. It's been a while since I started noticing random things vanish, and yesterday Hope frowned. She looked at Ethan as if a toad had popped out of his mouth.
Yesterday, you... What?
Nah, let's just go out blunt with it and save, because I like saving during these dilemma choices. I need to save during every dilemma choice. I just need to make that very clear. Say it bluntly, because I'm a very blunt person. I say everything out of my mouth. Like, I don't keep it, especially when recording. I don't keep anything secret. My bad. I saw someone in her kitchen last night. Some girl. The deep line on Hope's forehead disappeared. She leaned back in her chair and laughed, throwing her head back.
What a show you put on.
What show?
Okay, fine, I confess. I did steal your cupcake.
Why though? Like, what? You know I like my cup. You know my fat ass likes my cupcakes.
I mean, am I supposed to?
What?
I barely see you lately, so sweet pastries are my best shot to get some fun at night.
Sweet pastries aren't the only thing you eating that night. Probably add along some dick to that, and then I'll believe you.
Damn, I didn't realize you still remembered that cupcakes even
Of course,
exist.
my fat ass. Man, I tell you what, I love sweets. I love sweets, and thank God my metabolism still keeps my whorish ass hips. Cause if you seen how much I eat, it's a godsend. I wonder I'm not like no fat ass.
It was lying around the fridge for what? 3 days?
Hope glanced at Ethan, expecting him to start laughing too, yet he looked very serious. She noticed for the first time that the whiteness of his eyes were pinkish and full of broken capillaries. Her smile slowly faded. Come on, maybe you left the keys unattended somewhere.
I always leave my keys when I'm in the office. But I'm pretty sure there's no cat burglars among my clothes.
Lies.
Come to think of it, we should have hired a bunch. That'd balance the risk of going broke we have on a monthly basis.
You sure none of your colleagues would play a joke on us?
A joke?
Yes, a joke.
Good God, Ethan. You look like you're about to eat me alive.
Oh, I'm about to eat something alive. Just, not in a cannibalistic way.
Take a bun instead. Tastes better, trust me.
Oh, you. I pop a titty instead. Hope pulled her chair closer to Ethan and took his hand.
Please, hon. Promise me you'll take a break after that project of yours is finished.
Mic popping. Maybe.
I mean, one psycho is enough for our family.
You mean like the two of us, right? Because from what I know, we don't have no third child. Or at least,
You promise?
I don't remember, like, shooting you up. Ethan suddenly felt like a total idiot. A tired total idiot. A naked girl in the kitchen? Yeah, sure. He probably overworked to the point where he started being delirious at times. Maybe even walked in his sleep. He squeezed Hope's finger lightly. I promise. Sorry, I'm a moron, but this is nothing new. I probably stopped seeing the difference between dream and reality.
Why don't you call
Who's
Laura?
Laura? No, a shrink is the last thing I need right now. My bad, sure, but that'd be just too cruel. What I need to do is finish that project. After all the gears in my head will fall into place. I give you my word.
Oh, don't be like that. I mean, there's no need to start full-fledged therapy anyway. Sometimes, talking through your worries with a professional is all it takes to feel
Man,
better.
that. I don't do therapy. All I do is let it simmer and sit until it just explodes on the wrong person. At least I shouldn't have pressed you on it. I get that you have enough problems of your own right now. How's it going with your new position? Hope rested her head on his shoulder and shrugged.
Not fired yet, apparently.
That's good enough.
Seriously though, I haven't figured it out.
Apparently Ethan hasn't either.
Those new responsibilities are exciting. Oh, but I always feel like I'm 10 times slower than I should be. I should probably get ready for a nice, fat piece of overtime by the end of the month.
The way you said it sounded very are you in the mood right now? Because I feel like my Ethan should like clap some cheeks to get that stress away, or at least, you know, do something to get these illusions out of his head. Ethan kissed her forehead, closed his eyes, and squeezed the bridge of his nose. Well, I'm not the head of a department as of yet, but I seem to have the same stuff on my plate. Just how do you manage not to pester me with stupid questions?
Well, I eat cupcakes at night. You should give it a try.
Hope poked Ethan's cheek a couple of times with her finger.
Anyway, don't worry. I didn't give keys to anyone, and the only cat anything I've let inside was an actual stray cat.
Maybe her name was Selene!
Now that I think of it, it's been ages since we had any company. Maybe we should.
A cat? What cat? Hope sighed and pulled away.
Please don't get all worked up, okay?
Cat! Pussy!
At
Pussy!
least I'm being open with you. Don't worry, she didn't wander around.
Hope, we talked over this already.
We've talked over what? The fact that what I want doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
geez, Ethan, why are you being a total dick? Damn it, Hope, this is my apartment and I...
And you're staying here alone.
Ha! That's what you get, Ethan. Hope finished her tea in a couple of gulps.
I have to go to the office.
She stopped at the door, not turning around.
Sorry about the cat.
I need thumbnail material. Sorry.
She was really skinny, and I felt sorry for her. I also feel sorry for myself, Ethan, because I'm lonely. Really lonely.
This time, Ethan felt like an angry idiot. He got up from the table and reached for Hope. Hope,
Don't. I'll start crying. It'll take time. And I don't have any to spare right now. See you tonight.
I thought I was about to speak. See you tonight. Damn it, Ethan! Like, what? You fumble the bag every time. He didn't know what else to say, so he followed Hope into the hall like a silent shadow. He thought the right words would come to him, but the entrance door closed and he remained silent. Ethan sighed. He regretted his decision to talk about the night episode. He regretted how the talk turned out. He felt sorry for himself. Why would you feel sorry for yourself? I mean, yeah, you're going through some stuff, but like, dog. What do you mean you regretted talking about the night episode or whatever? At least you became... and for Hope. After all, Ethan was well aware that he really didn't spend enough time with her. At first because of the agency project, now because of the question to which he still couldn't find an answer. It was time to end this. He was going to make some coffee, then he'll open the laptop and write up some answer. It won't be an accurate one, but it's really time to finish that work marathon. After all, he doesn't even get paid for his time. Ethan nodded into the closed door and turned around, ready to execute the plan. Oi! Don't do that. That's when he saw her. And that's where we're going to end it off too, because it's 41 minutes of recording, and I ain't got time like that. I won't try and make, this episode and third episode too long in between each other, but we'll see what time tells, with recording and with my recording times, like, comment, sub, follow the Twitter or X, whatever it's called, where you get cool stuff like this. Yeah, I screenshotted one of my YouTube comments. I'm at, like, shoot, I forgot the name. The name's not hitting me up right now, but I swear, I just love that comment so much because it's like actually hilarious and funny. Thank you for the recent support. Like, I know the first episode of this game got like what, 100, almost 200 views, and like, of course it's not that much when you think about it, but like, to me it is when I average like 10 to 20 views a video. So, thank you, and I hope this trend continues with this game because it's pretty alright. That concludes the show, ladies and gentlemen and they thems. Make sure to say see you later on your way out and catch you next show. Till next time, peace out.